I was 26 when a doctor told me I'd probably never carry a pregnancy past the first trimester. I was sitting on a paper-covered exam table in a clinic off Route 9, still wearing my work badge from the Department of Children and Family Services. The doctor said it like she was reading a weather forecast. Permanent. Unlikely. Consider your options. I drove back to my cubicle, ate a vending machine sandwich for lunch, and opened a new case file. Inside was a photo of a newborn. 4 pounds, 3 ounces, positive for neonatal abstinence syndrome. No visitors in 5 days. Her name was a placeholder, Baby Girl Doe. I didn't hear a choir. I didn't feel a lightning bolt. I just looked at that photo and thought, I have a 2-bedroom duplex, a 4-year-old Honda, and a job that barely pays 40 grand a year. I also have an empty room I never go into. That was it. That was the whole revelation. I called my mother that Sunday. We met at her house, the one with the vinyl siding she power washes every spring. My sister Laura was there with her husband, Ken, and their toddler. Laura had gotten the nursery furniture from Mom and Dad, solid oak, delivered in a truck. I waited until Laura was changing a diaper in the back room. Then I said it, I'm going to foster adopt. A newborn. The paperwork's already started. My mother was peeling potatoes at the sink. She didn't stop. Samantha, you live alone. You work 50 hours a week. You can't even keep a fern alive. I'm not asking for money, I said. I'm telling you I'm doing it. My father lowered his newspaper. You're chasing a fantasy. That baby is damaged goods. By the time you're done fixing her, you'll be too old to start a real family. Laura walked back in. She looked at the floor. She said nothing. 3 days later, an envelope showed up in my mailbox at work. White business envelope, my name typed on a label. No return address, but I recognized my mother's handwriting on the stamp. Inside was a single sheet of lined paper, the kind she uses for grocery lists. Samantha, you have always needed to learn things the hard way. So learn this. You are not saving anyone. You are collecting a tragedy that will outlast your patience. A drug baby is not a blank slate. She is a ticking clock. When she fails, and she will, you will come home with your tail between your legs, and I will not be here to pick up the pieces. Do not bring her to my house. Do not ask me for help. I do not support this mistake. Mom, I read it in the break room. Pat from accounting walked by and asked why I was staring at a piece of paper like it owed me money. I folded it into quarters, put it in my purse, and went back to my desk. That night, I filed it in a manila folder in my locking desk drawer. The one where I kept court transcripts and termination of parental rights paperwork. It seemed like it belonged there. Maya came home on a Tuesday in February. She was 6 pounds by then, screaming through withdrawal, her tiny fists balled up like she was ready to fight the air. I had a secondhand crib from Facebook Marketplace and a car seat I'd installed wrong twice before Pat's brother fixed it. I had 3 weeks of leave, unpaid, because the county doesn't give maternity leave to foster parents. I had $312 in savings. The first 6 months were not hard. They were survival. Maya cried from 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. every night. Not fussed, cried. I walked her in circles through a living room the size of a 2-car garage, bouncing her on my shoulder until my spine felt like it was made of gravel. My downstairs neighbor, a guy named Daryl who worked third shift, pounded on the ceiling with a broom. I bought him earplugs and a 6-pack. He still called the landlord. I went back to work at 8 weeks. Pat watched Maya in her office for the first month, which was against every rule in the building, but Pat was 62 and 3 months from retirement and didn't care. Then I got a spot at a church basement daycare that charged by the hour. I ate peanut butter sandwiches for lunch and dinner so I could afford it. My parents did not call. Laura sent a text at Christmas. Merry Christmas, Sam. Hope you're okay. I didn't answer. I was too busy trying to get Maya to take a bottle without vomiting. Maya was 2 when I finished my bachelor's degree online, 1 class at a time, usually after she went to sleep. I was 4 years into the adoption, which was finally legal, when I got promoted to case supervisor. It came with a raise to $58,000. I moved us to a slightly less leaky duplex with a tiny yard. Maya was 4. She had speech therapy for a slight delay, and she was obsessed with dandelions. She thought they were flowers, not weeds. I never corrected her. My mother saw us once by accident. We were at the grocery store on Hawthorne, and she was in the produce section squeezing avocados. Maya was in the cart holding a picture book. My mother looked at us. I looked at her. She turned back to the avocados. That was it. That was the whole interaction. When Maya was 7, I found out my mother had been telling people at her church that I'd taken in a crack baby to make some kind of point. I heard it from a woman in line at the DMV. She said it sympathetically, like she was checking on a rumor. I told her Maya was reading at a 3rd grade level and knew the names of every dinosaur. The woman nodded, embarrassed. I wasn't angry. I was just tired. Maya was 15 when she found the letter. I was at a conference in Columbus. She was looking for her social security card in my home office and found the key to the filing cabinet. Kids are smart. She read it. She didn't mention it for 3 days. Then, on a Thursday night while we were doing dishes, she said, "Grandma Diane wrote that the week I came home?" I didn't pretend. Yes. Did it make you sad? It made me careful, I said. I kept it because I didn't want to forget what we were up against. Maya dried a plate. Can I keep it? It's yours if you want it. She put it in the bottom drawer of her own desk, under a stack of college brochures. Maya graduated high school valedictorian at 17. She'd skipped a grade. The ceremony was in the school's football stadium, folding chairs on the turf, families sweating through their good clothes in June. My parents came. I hadn't invited them. Laura had told them. They showed up in the 3rd row, dressed like they were attending a board meeting. My mother wore a coral blazer I'd seen her wear to Laura's baby shower 8 years earlier. I sat 2 rows behind them, next to Pat, who had driven 2 hours to be there. Maya saw me. She smiled. Then she saw my parents. Her face didn't change. She just nodded, like she was confirming a schedule. When they called her name, she walked to the podium with a folded piece of paper and her phone. She thanked the principal. She thanked her chemistry teacher, Mr. Howe, who let her use the lab before school. Then she stopped. I want to read something, she said. She pulled out her phone. She wasn't reading from her speech. She was reading from a photo. The letter. My grandmother wrote this to my mother 15 years ago, the week I was placed in her home. Her voice carried over the stadium speakers, flat and clear. She wrote, "A drug baby is not a blank slate. She is a ticking clock. When she fails, and she will, you will come home with your tail between your legs." The crowd went still. I could hear the flag snapping on the fence. My grandmother is here today, Maya said. She looked directly at the 3rd row. She's wearing a coral blazer. She hasn't spoken to my mother in 15 years. But she came to see me graduate. So I want to say thank you. Thank you for writing this down. Thank you for making it so clear what kind of love I didn't need. It made the love I did have feel like a house with a foundation. She folded the paper. My mom didn't adopt me to prove anyone wrong. She adopted me because she was 26 and alone, and she thought I deserved a chance. I do. Thank you. The applause started slow, then rolled. Pat was crying into a stadium napkin. I was frozen. I couldn't even stand. My mother didn't storm out. She didn't make a scene. She sat very still for about 30 seconds. Then she stood, smoothed her blazer, and walked up the aisle toward the parking lot. My father followed her. He didn't look back. Laura, who was sitting with them, stayed. She was crying. Actual tears. She looked at me and mouthed, "I'm sorry." Maya walked off the stage. She found me in the crowd. She hugged me. She smelled like drugstore perfume and graduation gown polyester. "Was that okay?" she asked. "It was yours to do," I said. "We didn't go out for ice cream." We went home. We ordered Chinese food and watched a reality show about people remodeling houses they couldn't afford. Maya put the letter back in her desk. My mother left a voicemail that night. I didn't listen to it for 2 days. When I did, it was 90 seconds of silence, then a hang-up. That was 3 months ago. Maya's at college now, studying biochemistry on a full ride. The duplex is quiet. I still have the filing cabinet. I still have the key. Some stories don't end with forgiveness. They end with distance. With a closed drawer. With the understanding that family isn't who shares your blood, but who stays in the bleachers when everyone else walks to their cars. That's the story. If it resonates, leave a comment. Tell me about someone who chose you. And if you're new here, subscribe. We do real stories, not fairy tales. See you next time.